Hi guys, how are we doing? So I just want to go through a very quick video on the purpose and the uses of a foam roller and a lacrosse ball, when to use them and how to use them. So first of all, when completely determines how you use it, okay? So you can do it before a workout, you can do it after a workout, you can do it on days for recovery, so it just depends on how you use it. Just like warming up for exercise, you can stretch to warm up, but if you do the wrong kind of stretch, sometimes that can actually hinder your workout. So let's talk about stretches first of all. When we warm up for a workout, we want to perform dynamic stretches, taking your muscles in and out of a range of movement to lengthen it, but we're not holding it in a position for too long that we're actually going to start tearing muscle fibers, which is then going to actually hinder our workout. After a workout, that's when we want to start tearing some of those muscle fibers and helping them to stay flexible, and also sometimes increase the flexibility of your muscles and your range of movement. Just like a workout, we want to first of all warm your muscles up before we do anything intense. So let's go through the foam roller first. So all I want you to do is we're going to focus on the lower body today. We're going to put that foam roller around about where your ankle is, and then we're going to roll it up towards the knee and then back down. So we're just going to gently warm that muscle up by rolling, placing our weight over onto that foam roller. Feeling a little bit of discomfort there, up and down, just warming it up. And now I want you to think about your calf split into 3 parts. You've got middle, inside and outside. So right now, going down the middle. Also, you want to relax your toe forwards, because if we bring our toe back, that's actually going to engage your calf, and we're not going to be able to roll it as effectively. Basically, when you're rolling your muscle, let's go on to the outside. When you're rolling your muscle, you are stretching it. You are increasing its range of movement. So say you've got a muscle, that's your muscle. We're then basically applying pressure onto the muscle, okay, and it's increasing the length of that muscle, so it's stretching it. So if it's engaged, we can't stretch it. So up and back down. And again, we want to think about inside and outside. So spend just a couple of minutes kind of warming up. And this is where we can use the foam roller to warm up before workout. So just quickly running over your muscles, just like dynamic stretches, stretching your muscles. Well done. Okay, so now we're going to apply a technique called compression, where what I want you to do is you're going to roll it up and down slower this time, and you're going to find a tender bit. Once you find a tender bit, we're actually going to apply more pressure down to stretch it out even more. And we're going to hold that for 10 seconds. And then once we've done that for 10 seconds, we then release, and then we're going to then roll it out again slowly. So what happens here is when you compress, so I'll find another one. When you compress down, it's pushing most of the blood out of your muscle, and then when we take it off, it's going to promote new, fresh blood with all its nutrients to come in, and it's going to help to warm it up, and also if you have speed up recovery as well. So this is why after a workout it can be beneficial as well, because what we're doing, so compression is for after workout, sorry. So it's just so that we're getting rid of all that old blood, and then new blood comes in, and then it helps to speed up recovery. There we go. So what you're going to find is the longer you roll it for, the more it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's totally normal. When you first start rolling, just like exercise, slowly increase the volume at which you're doing it. When you first stretch, hold a stretch for 1 or 2 minutes. When you stretch for longer periods of time, when you become conditioned to it, that's when you can stretch for longer. But it's just building up that volume gradually, just like exercise. You don't go straight in exercise every single day. You do it 2-3 times a week, and then you gradually increase the volume. Cool, so again, so we're thinking about your calf splitting into 3 parts. So we've got middle, outside, inside. Spend some time relaxing that toe, relaxing the calf, looking for those niggly bits, the bits of gristle. Another way I like to explain explain foam rolling, and it's called myofascial release. So imagine, when you cut yourself, when your body heals, it creates a scab, and then you can just kind of pick that scab off, and it's like your skin's back to normal, back to new. With a muscle, sometimes when you tear a muscle too much, your body then obviously repairs, and that's when your muscle grows. But if you tear it too much, then it has to create that scab, and it almost like a bit of calcification happens. And that's why when you come in here and do a bit of foam rolling, it just kind of breaks down that calcification. And because the calcification it's a lot harder, it reduces the flexibility of muscles. So to bring back that flexibility, we do need to try and get rid of it. I hope I explained that well enough. So I'm not an expert at this. I know bits and pieces, so I'll just explain what I do know. Right, so obviously we can go on to the other calf. Same thing again, so we're warming it up first. So warming that calf up first. And we're going to think of it as 3 segments. So we've got middle, we've got inside, we've got outside. And then you're just going to spend some time doing some compression. So slowing it down, finding that bit of tender, bit of gristle. And we're just going to apply pressure down for 10 seconds. Just let all that old blood escape. And then from there, taking it off, and it's promoting fresh blood to get in there and help repair your muscles. Good. Same thing, we can do the hamstrings. So again, we're going to go from bottom of the butt, up towards the knee, up and back down. So what we can do now, so this is for the hamstring, is let's think of it as middle, outside and inside again. When we go on to the outside, you can place your foot over, gives you a little bit of support. And we want to think about running it from the knee up towards just above the hip. And what we're trying to locate here is our IT band. It's a very tight muscle. It's very common that if this muscle gets over tight, it causes pain within the knee. So it's just always good to give your IT band a roll out. It's a process of elimination. You might as well give it a go, see if it helps, if you've got any knee pain. But obviously, prevention is better than cure. If we do this now, then we're going to hopefully prevent us from getting knee niggles and pain within the knee. Just trying to loosen the IT band up. What we can do now, so we've warmed the IT band up. Now what we can do here is apply a little bit of pressure down. Just let our body weight press into that IT band. 10 seconds. Letting blood escape. We're just holding that stretch for a bit longer. Intensifying that stretch. And then coming out. So the quicker you do this, we're just going to warm it up, and then the slower we do it, we're just going to stretch it even more. Let's do another compression. 10 seconds, doesn't need any longer than that. And then bring it out. We can now think about the inside. This one's quite tricky, so I would say probably just from your knee up to your mid-thigh. We're just now going to turn your leg so it's facing down towards the floor. And we can do exactly the same thing here. We can just warm it up by rolling it quick, up and down. We then slow it down, feel for those little bits of gristle, and then just kind of let our body weight press down, bit of pressure into the muscle, stretch it out even more, hold for 10 seconds, and then bring it out. So what the foam roller is going to do is going to be able to stretch muscles out which you may not have been able to just by simply doing a static stretch. So then if we go back to dynamic and static stretches, like I said, dynamic is what we want to kind of do before a workout. So dynamic version of a foam roller is quickly running over those muscles. And then a static stretch is more, we're holding with a bit of a compression and then releasing. So this is what we can do after a workout, doing our compressions. Okay, so that's calves, that's hamstrings. Let's go on to quads now. So we're just gonna, same again, so we're gonna do one quad first. So we're just gonna bring the other leg up just to help us roll over the quad from top of the knee down towards the hip. And then once we spend a couple of minutes warming it up, we then can apply a compression, just letting our body weight sink down, like so, and then give it another roll. So, time-wise, how long to spend? I mean, you can spend a few minutes up to an hour. Obviously, the longer you apply foam rolling to a certain part of your body, potentially, it's almost like a workout. It might feel actually sore the next day, and it might hinder your workout the next day. So it's always best to gradually increase the duration in which you're doing. I'll spend a couple of minutes per muscle group, and then if you're doing it weekly, every week, just increase the volume of which you're doing. You'll find out if you've done too much, because the next day you just might be sore, when the whole idea of doing the foam rolling is to stop us from being sore. So obviously if we're getting sore the next day, we've gone too long, it's counterproductive. Let's go to the other side, into the quad. So if you need to pause this video at any point, if you want to spend a bit longer on your muscles, if you want to go back, just pause it, spend a bit longer, a couple more minutes, find a few niggly bits, apply the compression, release, and then play it again. See, I'm just going from my knee down towards, and then finding a nice bit of gristle, bit of a tender bit. It's going to feel a bit lumpy. Like I said, that calcification, sometimes it feels like a lump, and it's almost like we're working with that lump and trying to even it out. It's like a piece of dough, like we just want to make it smooth. Well done. Cool. Okay, so we warm the muscles up with a foam roller. We're now going to apply a little bit more intensity with the lacrosse ball. So this is going to enable us to really finally point where we're going to stretch and where we're going to apply this compression to. So this is called trigger pointing. So start with calves. So all we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we've relaxed our toe forwards. Again, if we're engaging the muscle, we're not going to be able to stretch it. So we're going to relax it. And also, if we engage it, we're not going to be able to get deep into the muscle. So we want to get some of the niggles that you get are going to be quite deep within the muscle. So to be able to find it, we're going to have to relax where we're applying the pressure to. So you can apply it up and down or in little circular movements. I like to use the combination of the two. So clockwise circles and then kind of up and down. And you're just going to find that niggly bit. And because this is a lot less surface area now, you're really finely pointing out that bit of gristle. And you're going to apply that compression. And what we're going to do now is we're going to apply it for longer. So with trigger pointing, what you want to do is you'll want to go into the muscle until you feel the discomfort. And if you put it onto like kind of like a discomfort rating, you want to get up to about an 8. So it's got to want to be quite painful. And then we're going to hold that pressure down. And this could take a minute or so. And then when it's going to start to subside a little bit, and it's going to go down to about a 5. Once it gets down to about a 5 or 6, what you want to do now is it's going to allow you to get deeper into that muscle now. So we're going to apply more pressure, get deeper down, bring it back up to an 8, hold it there, make sure everything's nice and relaxed. And again, we're going to hold it until we start to feel that discomfort dropping. Comes down from an 8, down to a 5. And then again, one more time, we're going to apply more pressure. It's going to get deeper into that muscle. And then relax. So I'd probably advise doing that for about 1 to 2 minutes. Don't do it for too much longer than that. Pick a few points. So what I would do is I would split this into kind of segments. So obviously you've got your mid, you've got your outside, inside, and also you've got your lower and your top, okay? Just to keep it nice, simple, and just kind of do one for each one. So if I'm going to do inside top, I'm just going to kind of like feel, find, apply pressure. We can use that other leg to push down, work with it for a couple of minutes, keep letting it go from 8 down to a 5, build it back up to an 8, down to a 5, build it back up to an 8, down to a 5, and then release, and then find another bit. So that's our calves. We can do the other side. So again, at any point you want to pause this, just pause it. Spend a bit more time working with the muscle. Again, we can do little circular movements. Find a bit, there we go, a bit of gristle. That's nice and painful. And then, just gonna apply a little bit of pressure. Bring it up to an 8. Just like when you hold a static stretch, you hold it for long enough, you're like, oh, I can push a bit more now. And that's all that's happening right now. Is I'm holding it, I'm applying pressure, the same amount of pressure, and it's just relaxing, it's easing up, and then you can get deeper into that muscle, stretch it a little bit more. Again, bring up to an 8. Nice deep breaths, try and relax your leg. It's very hard to do sometimes. Takes practice relaxing things. And then one more time into that 8. And then release. And it's going to get rid of all that blood. And then fresh blood's going to replace it. And it's going to help speed up recovery. It's going to hopefully get rid of some of the calcification you might have had built up because of maybe your muscles have been torn. You just worked it a bit too much. You haven't let them recover fully. And it's just built up a little bit of, it's almost like bone, this calcification. It's very hard and you can feel it. If you do slow enough, you can kind of feel that, that bit of lump. You kind of want to work with it. So what you can also do is kind of like stay on that point and just work backwards and forwards. It's almost like you try to pick it off, backwards and forwards. Then you can apply pressure. Builds it up to an 8. It's going to get used to it. It's going to allow you to get deeper into there, build it back up to an 8. Relax, build it back up to an 8, and then come off. So we can do the same thing with a hamstring. It's a bit harder. What you'd probably need to do is do this on like a box or a chair. It's the best way of doing it. When you do it on the floor, it's quite hard. because my leg's straight and I need to kind of put more pressure down. Let's go onto the front. Let's go for a quad. So, again, the beauty about using a lacrosse ball is we can stretch out parts of the muscle which we're unable to stretch out before. So when we do a quad stretch, so when we stretch our quad out, what you're probably going to find is it's going to stretch it more up here. There we go. But a lot of the time, this gets neglected around the knees, and a big contributing factor to knee pain, as well as an IT band being quite tight and pulling on the knee, can be the patella tendon. So tendons are one of those things that takes longer for them to recover. And if you sometimes overuse them, it causes inflammation. And if you don't give them enough time to recover, then you can get tendonitis. And that's one thing you want to try and prevent. So this is one thing that can help prevent it. This is going to help, almost like I said, when you stretch something, you're going to warm it up, and once you warm it up, blood's going to want to rush to it, and it's going to want to help it repair. So this one I like to call pulling the pint. So you're going to lie yourself down on the floor on your front. You're going to place that lacrosse ball just above the kneecap, and from there, I want you to flick it left to right, and I want you to feel, you're going to feel it flick over muscles. It's going to flick over its muscles. Sometimes it's nice to do this when you've got like jogging bottoms on or something, especially if you've got hairy legs. So ladies, so you'll be okay if you shave. If you don't, it's going to hurt you. Guys, if you've got hairy legs, it's going to hurt. So sometimes it's better to do these in jogging bottoms. But you're going to find these bits of kind of these muscles flicking over the ball. And what we wanted to do now is we want to create a lock with this ball. So basically this ball is going to go on here. We've created the lock, we've pressed down. We're then going to help to pull the ball's going to, we're going to pull our body back so the ball locks the muscle off. So now we're not going to stretch this part of the muscle. Now when we bring the foot back, it's just going to stretch this part here. And this tendon that runs underneath the knee that's very hard to stretch is going to help stretch that out. Obviously, the more flexible it is, the less likelihood you're going to aggravate it. And also, when we stretch it out, it's going to help it recover. It's going to help promote blood to get to it. It's all about getting things warm and letting blood get to it. And especially with tendons involved, there's a lot less blood gets to it, a lot less blood supply. Muscles recover a lot quicker. Okay, so we're gonna find this tight muscle. We're gonna create a lock, so press down. We're gonna bring ourselves back slightly, and then we're gonna pull our heel back slowly. Hold for 5 seconds, hold that stretch, and then back down. So what you can do to start off with, if you want to just do it shorter first, so you kind of you find it, you place the lock, but this takes practice. So pull back, heel comes back, and then back down. And as, again, just like the foam roller warms it up, and then we can intensify it a little bit, we can then kind of hold that stretch for a little bit longer. Ooh. And then obviously think the inside and outside of your knee. So we're going to find it, press down, create the lock, heel comes back, and then back down. So spend a few minutes doing that. We've got inside as well. Find the little bit of gristle. Oh, press down, create the lock. Oh. Heel comes back, and then back down. Again, if you've got any knee pain, this could be the solution to it. You never know. What creates inflammation? So just doing things, increasing the volume and intensity too quickly. That's one thing. So it's very common for people that run or have run before and they stop and they get out of condition. So I'm doing the other knee. So they run, they're out, and then they stop running, And then they just remember back to when they were running 25 miles a week or like 20 miles a week, and then suddenly they go bang, straight back into it, and your body's not conditioned to it anymore. Its recovery is not as quick, and they push through, and that increase of volume intensity so quickly doesn't allow you to recover, and that's what can cause the inflammation. So flick it left to right, find that muscle flicking over the ball, find it, press down, create the lock, heel comes back, pull the pint, back down. Find another bit. You can do this also before a workout. So I do this quite regularly, like before I do squats, because I do get inflammation in the knee. I did, when I was younger, too much intensity, too much volume too quickly, too much jumping movements too quickly, not letting my body recover, not having days off from jumping and plyometric movements. I get inflammation with the knee quite quickly, like patella tendon. So I'll quite often do this before I do some squats. And just like I said, the longer you hold something, if you rip the muscle fibers too much, it can hinder your workout. So I'll do this quite quickly. So I'd flick over the muscles, create the lock, pull it back, just kind of like dynamic stretching it. So I'm not holding it, just dynamically up and back down. And then find another bit, press down, pull it a few times, find another bit, just doing it a little bit quicker, just not letting those muscle fibers rip too much. But obviously if we're doing this after a workout, on a day that we're not working out, you know, you can increase the volume of which increase the time at which you're stretching these muscles. Cool. Right, next, let's go on to our hip, so a bit higher up. What I want you to do is you're going to sit yourself on your heels and you want to feel for it. So there's a muscle just in between your thigh, feel for it, and it's going to feel kind of like, you're just going to feel it, flicking over that muscle, and that's where you're going to want to stick the ball. So working with this muscle, going side to side. So we've done one end of the quad. We're now going to come up towards the other end. Once again, usually with tendons, it's very hard to stretch them. All right, so we're going to warm it up. So flick it backwards and forwards, and then we're going to apply the intensity. So then we're going to kind of put our body weight on the ball, try and relax the hip, hold for 10 seconds, and then release. That's our compression. Then we could do some trigger pointing. So we can kind of get it intense, up to 8, let it come down, go back up to 8, let it come down, back up to 8 again, hold it, 10 seconds, and then release. So go to the other side. Again, if you want to pause this, just pause it please, and then just spend a bit more time. Again, we want to try and find that muscle. Another way you can find it is if you put one foot forward. As you bring that leg forward, you're gonna feel that muscle activate, because that's the muscle it's the muscle, that hip flexor muscle, which is used to bring your knee up. So we're gonna find it, put the ball in there, and then there we go. Just working with it, millimeters, very small movements here, side to side. So warming that muscle up. Once we've warmed it up, bit of compression, 10 seconds. Hold for 10 seconds, release, do some more rolling. Once it's nice and warm, we can do some trigger pointing, so we're kind of like really getting into that muscle. Getting it up to that 8, holding it there, breathing through it, let it come down, back up to an 8, hold it, let it come down. And then as we come off, all the blood's gone, but now the blood's going to come back in. It's going to help speed up recovery. Finally, we'll go through the glute. So quite often people were told to, if you've got any sciatic pain, to sit on a ball. I'd probably recommend against it. If you've got any sciatic pain, then you're probably just going to make it worse if you sit on the ball. It might feel like, oh, I've got that spot and I'm going to work with it, but that sciatic nerve runs down, so comes in from the glute and then runs down the leg. So it's like where that piriformis is. It runs down the leg. It's quite close to the surface, and just apply a little bit of pressure, you can actually compress it a little bit more, especially if you've already got inflammation. So you've already got like a sciatic pain. So very gently, we're just working with it. So it's on like middle of butt cheek. And if you've got any referral pain going down your leg right now as you're doing this, I would advise you to stop. And there's other things you can do to help relieve sciatic pain than putting a ball on that nerve. It's just going to make it hurt more. So again, we're going to warm it up. So what it's going to feel like is like a dip. Like the centre of the butt cheek is like almost like a dip where we can kind of like place that ball. And we're just going to kind of roll it around in there. And then we can just do a few things that we can apply that compression. If you're struggling to relax your glute right now, what you can do is if you squeeze your glute and then relax, it's going to help you get a little bit deeper so we can kind of hit that piriformis muscle, like so. Great, right. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a little go, practice. Good practice makes perfect, so apply some of those techniques. Get used to that compression, 10 seconds, hold, letting blood, like the old blood escape, releasing it back off, new fresh blood comes in, helps to recover. Remember a few key points. So remember, just before a workout, we can use the foam roller and we can use the lacrosse ball, the foam roller, to really warm all those muscles up, get them nice and loose, like dynamic stretching, help increase the range of movement, but not over tear those muscles, which will kind of like hinder our performance. Again, we can use the ball to really fine tune and find those little niggly bits, like for example my knee. I like to spend a bit more time around that area just to really warm it up, because I know I do suffer from a little bit of knee pain. Yeah, and then just gradually increase the volume of what you're doing. Don't jump straight in and do hours every single day. 2 or 3 times a week, 10 minutes before a workout to warm your muscles up with what you're trying to, what you're trying to work. Spend 10, 20, 30 minutes after a workout, fine tune it, just spending a bit more time stretching, holding those positions. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it of some use. If you have any questions, as always, I'm always here. Give me a comment, give me a like, please subscribe, and I'll be back again with a video focusing in on your upper body. Right, cheers guys, bye.